I really wanted to do in a relationship, right? I just don't get why it took you so long to say something.
He's been chasing after you for a few days and he's still here. We're not as ignorant as you.
What a surprise!
Abantu ba Mintombo Yamore. Your favorite KBC station, Minto FM, is now at your doorstep. Enjoy the hottest KC music, informative and entertaining shows, and reliable news only on Minto FM. Tune in to Minto FM on 91.7 FM in Nyamira, Kisii and its environs.
Minto FM in Nyamira.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. It's now 6:32 a.m. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. This is KBC Channel 1. How was your weekend? I hope you had a fantastic one, a new week for us to make it. All right. So it's the final stretch for the bipartisan talks team to give the final remarks and, of course, the final report in that regard as far as the bipartisan talks, which was happening at the Bomas of Kenya, is concerned. So how is it going to be? What are some of the things that are going to be captured in that report? Former President Uhuru Kenyatta finally spoke after a very long silence. And you know what he said? That keep your mess out. Keep your mess out of, your mess is your mess. In reference to what the current administration is doing, he spoke yesterday in Mwingi at Harambee. We'll be having a lot of discussion as far as politics is concerned, so stick around. It's going to be juicy. Francis Mongange, Deputy Governor of Machakos, will be joining me in studio. I have James Gakuya, Member of Parliament of Embakasi North. He's also going to join me in studio. And finally, Rafael Wanjala, Member of Parliament, Budalangi constituency. It's going to be a heated conversation. So stick around. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Lita. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
How was your weekend?
So far, so good. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migru, and of course, as Victor said, the show is well packed for you. We'll be having serious conversation, fascinating topics and insights as we look into the political world and also, what is happening. And there's a story on the 7th page of the Standard which has caught my attention about Machakos University students developing an app for visually impaired people, and they emerged victorious in the hackathon of 2023, a national competition that challenges students to devise innovative solutions, which points into the direction in which our education system is taking. Students are becoming innovative, and this is one of the things that, if this is something to go by, then we look forward to having a very productive workforce as they graduate every year. Good morning, Marie.
Good morning to you, Mike, Victor, and indeed, Vivian will be joining us in just a short while. A very good morning to you from wherever you're joining us. This is indeed Good Morning Kenya. My name is Marie Ambo. I'll be bringing you up to speed with the news in just a short moment, where President William Ruto has defended the government-to-government oil deal, plus 61 people have been confirmed dead in the ongoing El Nino rains, as over 80,000 households have been affected. Details of that, including sports, will be coming to you in just a short moment. But first things first, good morning, Vivian.
Good morning, Marie, and good morning to you, Victor and Mike. It's a brand new week, and I am more than pleased that you have chosen Good Morning Kenya to start off your day, as my colleagues have already mentioned, we have a lot in store. And including all that they have mentioned, we also have a family check as a segment. And today on Family Check, we will be talking about parenting. We know that children are at home, and they will be home for the longest before they get to go back to school. And actually, Form 4s are winding up their examination, with most of them finishing up by Friday this week. So they will be home, you know, for a really, really long time. And you just want to look at how parents are going to be able to look after their children. What relationship should they have with their children? I will be joined by Mr. Mustafa Masudi, and we will be looking into that particular conversation. For now, let's head straight to the news with Marie Yambo.
Indeed, Vivian, let's look at some of the news items that made headlines in the past 12 hours or so, where President William Ruto has once again defended the government-to-government oil deal amid claims by the opposition that the taxpayer may have lost billions of shillings. Now, the president maintains that the government-to-government deal was above board and that contractual agreements are public documents that can be accessed by anyone willing to verify. Achola Simon with the details of that story.
President William Ruto has termed the government-to-government oil deals with Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates as one of the best, saying other countries are now emulating the agreement.
Saudia na UAE. Leo watu ya Uganda, watu ya Tanzania, watu wa Rwanda ndio wanaenda kutafuta ile sisi tayari tuko naye. Because our transaction was the best. Every country today is looking for the transaction similar to the one that we have.
The head of state, while challenging the opposition to prove any wrongdoing, maintained that the contractual agreements are public documents.
Hiyo transaction tumefanya imesort out mambo matatu. Ya kwanza imesort out matatizo ya supply. Sasa hakuna petrol station yenye haina mafuta, number one. Number two, imesort out problem ya madola. Walikuwa wanahangaika kampuni kutafuta dola kutoka benki hii ati benki hii ati benki ile, kwa sababu hakukuwa na mpango ya sawasawa. Serikali ya Kenya tumefanya MOU ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba tunaweza kununua mafuta, kampuni zetu ziweze kununua kwa pesa ya Kenya badala ya kutafuta madola.
The opposition has raised a red flag on the government-to-government deals, claiming that the taxpayer may have lost close to 17 billion shillings. This as oil marketers dispute claims that the deal may be scandalous. President Ruto spoke on Sunday when at an interdenominational Thanksgiving prayer service in Sotik, Bomet County. Leaders who attended the service urged the president not to be derailed from his economic agenda, even as the opposition demands shelving of the housing levy and mechanisms of addressing the high cost of living must be part of the agreement in the National Dialogue Report.
Tunahitaji amani. We need peace, and peace will help us fulfill that which God has planned for the people of Kenya. It reminds me of John 14:27, that God said, Jesus said, "My peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid."
Alafu unapata mtu anakuja pale anatuambia atitoeni housing levy kwa sababu ya siasa ya unafiki tu. Yet actually in the real sense, if you read the Azimio Manifesto na Kenya Kwanza, both of them ilikuwa na proposal ya housing levy. Lakini kwa sababu wanataka tu kufanya siasa na kuongea maneno ambayo isaidi nchi ya Kenya, ati wanatuambia watoe. Let me announce to the country from straight here in Bomet, the same way they are telling us that they are deal breakers, hata hii yetu kwa mambo ya housing levy, that one is a deal breaker.
Mimi nimeomba rais aendelee kukuwa focused kwa ile kazi anafanya. Saa hii tuko na shida ya maji, tumepata mvua nyingi, huku kwenyu ikikuja inashuka, lakini kule kwetu imejaa. Na tumeona serikali imetoa mkono, tunataka rais ukuwe focused, utembee na sisi.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has asked leaders in the ruling Kenya Kwanza coalition to stop engaging in the 2032 succession politics and instead focus on helping the government to revive the economy for the well-being of Kenyans. The Deputy President spoke at an interdenominational prayer service and fundraising for churches in Mount Elgon, Bungoma County. Give us on Maina with details of that story.
KBC grounds in Mount Elgon, Bungoma County on Sunday urged the Kenya Kwanza leaders to focus on service delivery to Kenyans.
Na ningetaka kuuliza viongozi wetu wale wako kwa Kenya Kwanza, let us focus on the economic transformation of this country. Let us focus on assisting President William Ruto to get this country on the right economic trajectory.
The Deputy President saying he was against the 2032 succession politics.
Naona wengine watu wetu wamepotea wanaongea mambo ya uchaguzi ya 2032. Those are people who are lost. We are only 1 year in office. How can you discuss 2032? Even 2027 is a premature debate.
Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula waded into the internal wrangles in the ruling coalition over calls to dissolve affiliate parties.
Kenya is a multi-party democracy. Na lazima tushiriki. MCA wetu wa hapa ni wa Ford Kenya. MCA wa pale chini Mama Joan ni wa UDA. Wote ni watoto wetu.
Wetangula's sentiments were backed by Deputy President, who said what was working needed no fixing. The sentiments coming days after the UDA grassroots elections were postponed. On reforms in the agriculture sector, Gachagua assured that the government will sustain the fight directed at uprooting the coffee cartels for the benefit of farmers.
Hii vita ya kahawa ni kali sana. Kwa sababu zaidi ya miaka 35 hao middlemen, hawa brokers wamekuwa wakikula jasho ya mkulima na wamezoea kukula na kukula vizuri. Sasa kutoa nyama kwa mdomo ya simba ni kibarua.
Leaders accompanying the Deputy President lauded efforts by the government to make the agriculture sector more profitable.
Wiki tatu iliyopita nilikuwa nimetembea Ubeljiji na nikatembea Ujerumani kutafuta soko ya kahawa. Ndio niweze kuunganisha vile nimeagizwa na rais, wakulima wa kahawa na wakunywaji kahawa direct bila hii mabroka hapa katikati.
The Deputy President also said the government is working round the clock to revive the construction of toll roads in the area.
Thank you, Giverson Maina, for that report. Now, former President Uhuru Kenyatta says he is still in the Azimio One Kenya coalition and will not join the ruling Kenya Kwanza alliance. Speaking at a church fundraising in Mwingi, Kitui County, the former president called on political leaders to remain loyal and truthful to their duty of leadership. He, at the same time, urged Kenyans to shun divisive politics and remain united.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta and Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka attended a church service and fundraising in Mwingi, Kitui County. The former president, who is also the chairperson Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, assured his party members that he was firmly in opposition.
Mimi sifichi kusema ya kwamba pale ambapo mimi nasimamia, mimi naambianga watu mimi ni mwana Azimio. Mimi sio mtapeli wa kuruka huku na kuruka huku, sijui ati leo iko hivi, leo iko hivi. Mimi nikitoa msimamo wangu, mimi nakala msimamo wangu kwa sababu hilo ndilo tulifundishwa na wale wazee ambao wanatufundisha siasa. Kuwa mtu ambaye anaweza kukamilika leo na kesho, sio mtu wa kuyumbayumba na hii, hiyo sisi hatuko hapo. We are where we are to stay and we are proud of it. And we are hopeful of a bright future.
Uhuru challenged political leaders to be loyal and committed to their call of leadership, avoiding to respond to Kenya Kwanza politicians who have been blaming the previous regime for running down the economy. The former president instead urged Kenyans to shun divisive politics and remain united.
Tukatae kugawanywa. kwa misingi ya kikabila, kwa misingi ya kidini, kwa misingi sijui ya tajiri na maskini. Sisi tuwataka Wakenya wawe kitu kimoja na kila Mkenya ako na pahali yake. Ama ni namna gani?
And Senate Majority Leader, that is Aaron Chariot, has coughed off Azimio coalition for issuing new conditions in the ongoing bipartisan talks. Speaking in Cheborgei in Bureti, Kericho County, during a fundraiser in aid of Ain Poset AIC Church, Chariot said Azimio is not honest and is uncommitted.
The majority leader who represented President William Ruto during the fundraiser said the opposition should not issue new demands, saying as the Kenya Kwanza coalition, they're fully committed to the ongoing talks.
Bali kwamba nchi yetu inapitia changamoto nyingi, cost of living na mambo kama haya. Kuna mambo tu kidogo ambaye tungependa tuambie.
He also urged the opposition to stop criticizing the Kenya Kwanza government projects on affordable housing projects.
Sisi tunakubaliana kwamba vile nyinyi mnasema kuna deal breaker katika hii maneno yenu ya mazungumzo. Mnasema toa hii, punguza hii, tutakubaliana kwa hiyo. Lakini msikuje na masharti ambaye ingine sisi tunaona that is hypocrisy.
The National Dialogue Committee failed to resolve the issue of the cost of living during this retreat in Machakos after the Azimio team tabled new proposal that generated debate, which forced some members to storm out of the meeting. One of the issues raised by the opposition coalition is the reduction of the value-added tax from 16% to 8%. Meanwhile, the National Assembly Budget Committee Chair, Ndindi Nyoro, has said that the supplementary budget will be finalized by Tuesday. According to Nyoro, the budget has addressed a few sectors like education, agriculture and infrastructure.
We have added over 5 billion shillings into our JSS capitation, over 3 billion shillings into JSS infrastructure. We have also added over or close to 20 billion shillings into higher education, 8.25 billion Kenya shillings into fertilizer subsidy and also post-harvest management.
Speaking during a church service at Mugoiri Catholic Church, Murang'a County, Nyoro urged Kenyans to be patient with the current regime, adding that the cost of living is expected to go down soon.
Sure, ya kwamba nchi zingine zitakuja kusoma maneno ya kudhibiti uchumi kupitia kwa zile decisions rais wetu wanafanya katika Kenya yetu.
And now to road safety matters, where Kenyans have been urged to take responsibility in ensuring road safety, as the National Transport and Safety Authority, that is the NTSA, says that close to 4,000 Kenyans have lost their lives in road carnage this year alone. Now, a section of those who were lucky to have survived got a chance to narrate their ordeal during the World Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Road Accidents.
The World Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Road Accidents has been marked across the country. As statistics indicate that close to 4,000 Kenyans have died so far this year from road carnage. 173 of the victims perished along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway.
The people standing up are 173. Those are the people we have lost between Nairobi and Nakuru this year alone. Look around and see it's not just a number. You could be next.
A victim of road carnage, Ruth Ndungu, says she is lucky to be alive.
I was in a public vehicle. Somebody reckless from Dalamere petrol station left the station without considering a truck that was leaving Nairobi. So the truck hooted severally, and the Prado just turned to the right side and on top of the speed bumps. So it came to our side and we had a head-on collision.
The National Transport and Safety Authority says there were 330 fatalities resulting from road traffic crashes in October 2023 compared to 361 in October 2022. There was an 8.5% decrease in fatalities, but an increase in serious and slight injuries by 23.7% and 29.7% respectively, compared to a similar period in 2022. Speeding has been cited as the major contributor to accidents. The Kenya National Highways Authority believes that the government's plan to put cameras to monitor speed on the roads will reduce accidents by between 15 to 20%. Road Safety Association of Kenya's Njoroge Kiarie is calling for the training of boda operators in the country instead of arresting them as a means of instilling discipline.
Wito wetu kwa dereva awe makini sana.
Wacha tuseme mambo ya boda inakera kwa sababu tunazungumza kwamba tuko na boda karibu milioni 4 Kenya. Hao ni vijana milioni 4 ambao wako kwa barabara kila siku, ambaye maisha yao iko hatarini kwa sababu mwanzo hawa vijana hawaja kuwa trained. 80% yao hata hawana license.
To protect pedestrians, the county government of Mombasa has partnered with the Bloomberg Initiative for Global Road Safety to redesign the streets of Mombasa. Was it not for the road accidents that continue to be experienced along Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, 173 more Kenyans would still be alive today. And as the country marks the day of remembrance of the victims of road accidents, there is still a lot to be done by the government in reducing the road accidents.
Thank you so much to Leo Marco for that report. Now, the government is warning that more counties should brace themselves for the impact of the ongoing El Nino rains. The Deputy President says that the number of counties that have been experiencing El Nino rains has risen from 19 to 33, with others being put on high alert. Now, he has called on the devolved units to allocate more funds towards mitigation efforts as well as clear drainages.
At least 80,000 households across the country have been negatively affected by the El Nino. The cases are mainly displacements or marooned, with the numbers rising every day. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says a command center has been established at the Kenya Defence Forces headquarters to coordinate the response. Gachagua called on development partners to enhance their financial, technical and logistical support in reducing and mitigating the impact of the El Nino. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Interior has published the identities of the 2 officers whose vehicle was swept away by floods at the Ramisi Bridge in Lunga Lunga on Friday. The 2, Joram Maina and Lunga Lunga Border Management Committee Chairperson David Nganga, are yet to be found, but the vehicle, a Toyota Land Cruiser, has been retrieved and towed to the Msambweni police station. In Lamu County, emergency response teams had a hard time reaching some 300 families in Lumsh village who were cut off by the rising waters.
Leo tukishirikiana na county government ya Lamu, tukishirikiana na governor na deputy wake, tumeweza tena kuwatembelea ili kuweza kuwaruzuku vyombo ambavyo vitaweza kuwasaidia wakati huu mgumu.
The team comprising Lamu Governor Issa Timami was forced to abandon vehicles and walk 3 kilometers to reach the village.
Lumshie wamezungukwa na maji na hata wao kufika upande ule mwingine imekuwa shida.
The government wants those living in the lowlands to move to higher grounds to avert loss of lives. Machakos County Governor Wavinya Ndeti says her administration is fully prepared to deal with emergencies arising from the El Nino.
Watu wa Machakos, sisi tuko tayari, mulijua tulijiprepare El Nino, tuko na equipment, tuko na kila kitu, tuko tayari kusaidia watu wetu.
Beatrice Gatonye reporting there. Now, the mega talent show organized by the Talanta Hela Initiative and the Youth for Christ Got Talent saw over 100 participants drawn from different denominations showcase their talents. Now, the show had categories ranging from solo performances, dances, artworks, and even modeling. Participants called on the government to channel more funds to support the youth to utilize their talents as a money-making venture.
At the Don Bosco Tume Hall in Karen, Nairobi County, youth drawn from several churches and denominations participated in the mega talent show. Singers, artists, models and dancers showed their artistic prowess. From the little ones to the grown-ups, everyone had a chance. Participants thanked the organizers, noting that such chances go a long way in appreciating their talent to earn a coin for them.
It has enabled me to network. It has enabled my wings to grow further. See, some people will just see me and recognize my work. Then they'll maybe network me to some other places.
It enlightens me. It shows that they are giving us a big support. They are coming to support us and they are engaging the youth in this thing.
Tukipata platform kama hii tunajimarket, at least inatusaidia kujimarket.
Persons with disabilities were not left behind either, as the Crown Cool Deaf Entertainment Dust crew lived up to their billing.
There have been many steps taken for the hearing people. We have seen them win a lot of stuffs, but guys, where are the deaf people? They're also creative and innovative. So I think when we try to open for them opportunities, for example, if we try from home, parents are really oppressing the deaf kids. They think that they can't do much other than sitting at home. One of the problems is awareness. Another problem, which team to get or start a team, communication barrier is still a problem. So many deaf stay at home because of that. And we see many opportunities being opened for the youth and also disabilities.
The Youth for Christ leadership says going forward there will be more such events as a means of tapping youth talent and exposing them to potential markets for their financial freedom.
As the CS has said, it will be incorporating YFC in Talanta Hela, so more of these events are coming, bigger and better.
Into matters wildlife and human conflict, the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy has hailed a technological innovation, that is Earth Ranger, for providing a clear and concrete picture of security situation across the landscape and northern Kenya. Now, the Conservancy, located in Meru and bordering Isiolo County, has embraced high-level technology in the conservation of wildlife, which at the same time assists in addressing human-wildlife conflict. Now, Dominic Maringa, head of conservation at the sanctuary, says there is high engagement of the surrounding communities in the conservation despite the menace of cattle rustling, road banditry and inter-tribal conflict cases along the boundaries.
The Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, which incorporates the Ngaren Forest, covering 62,000 acres, accommodates wild animals from various species, such as the endangered black rhino and the Grevy's zebra. Amid poaching threats and cases of human-wildlife conflict, the Conservancy has adopted high-level technology to protect the wildlife under its care.
We are able to trace some of the core-land animals like elephants or rhinos, which have got transmitters on their horn, where they are in a particular time, and we are able to query what they are doing there. Are they crossing the fence? Are they nearing the farms? And we are able to give information to our rangers on the ground, and they can intervene and find what animals are doing, and if necessary, they can push them back to the park.
Dominic Maringa, head of conservation at Lewa, says the technology includes the establishment of an operation and communication center in partnership with Northern Rangeland Trust. It is here that the Earth Ranger system lies, which integrates communication from various locations across the landscape, which informs tactical decision-making from the field rangers.
There was a lot of conflict between humans, wildlife, search of water, movements, even pastoralists moving around looking for pasture, and all that can be, we realize that we can be able to give communities relevant information to be able to manage their water, ration their water.
Installed 10 years ago, the system monitors the movement of wildlife within the Conservancy and other community conservancies across the northern Kenya landscape. It also tracks not only birth and death rates, but also injured animals and prey preferences across the year. Automated weather stations have been set up to help in predicting occurrences such as drought and floods, especially with the current effects of climate change.
Immediately we get information, for example, of an injured person. that information goes that there are rangers nearby. They are the first people to receive. If it is a police assistance that is needed, there is immediate communication with the nearby police, and there is a reaction immediately to perform the rescue needed. For example, recently you saw someone flooding, trapped by flood water just near Isiolo, near Shaba, and that information came to the JOG through Earth Ranger platform.
Maringa says though Lewa Wildlife Conservancy was the first to install the Earth Ranger system, other government agencies have started installing the same.
To some sports news now, where Kenya Sevens rugby team, that is Shujaa, are the winners of this year's Safari Sevens tournament after seeing off Brazilian Samurai 19-0 in a closely contested final at the RFUEA grounds, that is on Gong Road. Meanwhile, the Kenya Lionesses lost 12-15 to arch rivals, that is Lady Cranes of Uganda, in the women's final.
Patrick Odongo scored the first try that was converted by Tony Omondi to send the match into the breather, Shujaas leading 7-0.
That was the offload and that contest there. Patrick Odongo shows his defensive capabilities there, curtailing that run. The ball is picked up on the loose, and Patrick Odongo is going to score the game's opening try. Has he dropped that ball? Full blast of the...
After resumption, Kelvin Wekesa touched down for Kenya, while Patrick Odongo added the third try that was converted by Tony Omondi to hand Shujaas the victory.
Eventually cleaned up and claimed by the Kenyans, John Okoth. The ball out wide is long. Kevin Wekesa goes over the top. Try.
En route to the final, the 9-times champions humbled Germany 19-5 in the last four, while Samurai defeated Uganda 21-19.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners of the 2023 Safari Sevens, Kenya Shujaa.
It is Shujaa. They are.
Meanwhile, Kenya Lionesses lost 15-12 to arch rivals Lady Cranes of Uganda in the women's final.
Congratulations are in order to the Shujaa team for showing resilience, really, and winning the Rugby Sevens, Safari Sevens, that is, and all the teams that participated in the Rugby Sevens. I must say, my son was also participating in that particular tournament, but he was playing for the Whalers. So congratulations to him and to all the teams that participated in the Safari Sevens. So thank you so much once again for joining us this morning. My name is Marie Ambo, and hope to see you again next time.
Auntie akona ka forehead. Akona the mark of quality.
Ameke rock the nail of Satan over.
Nataka kumaliza mambo hiyo wedding.
Kwanza kiongea kitu kia Patrick sana. Rosi Paul. Umenimaliza kama chai kwa kikombe.
Zote zimebaki December, September, October.
Wanaona, I know my Israel.
Ni kama tu nikuje nikwambie uko na kichwa kubwa. Sasa makosa si
au sio? Ndio manake. Okay.
Every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Guess what? It's your good friend and loyal partner, Claudio. He's the one who took it.
Olga mentioned to me that he was also involved in the murder of Carolina.
Olga?
I've got nothing to do with those drugs!
Transporting it. So the charges will be against you.
Where are they? They shouldn't get away from us. You two check over there. You
Yes,
come
sir.
with me. Hurry up!
I've just recalled everything. Now I'm going to do what I should have done long before. I am going to tell the truth. But getting cold feet? No. Certainly not.
KBC Channel 1 magazine programs strive to disseminate news and information.
Welcome to Happening in the World of Entertainment
and achievements of individuals navigating through life.
Be part of the intelligent conversation. Papa KBC Channel 1.
Related to the interest of Kenyan public on various subjects of national importance.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news,
Challenges and remarkable stories of individuals with disabilities.
and you have a say.
Our magazine programs empower communities with words for conversations and a common language to approach the world.
For your infotainment needs, we have a great range of programs.
Music can be magical. It's the soul for life and gives immense peace to us. It has a powerful therapeutic effect on the human psyche. Whether secular
One for the party, two for the shawty, three when you shake your
or gospel. There's a song for everyone, every occasion, and every emotion.
God bless you.
And welcome back. Good morning. And thank you so much for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. Now, it's time for us to get into the political arena and fight it politically, the best way we know how. All right. Before then, my guest already in studio, Deputy Governor, Machakos County, Francis Mwangangi, already joining me, saying that they were privileged to have high delegation yesterday in the county. I don't know who are these people. Mheshimiwa, probably just tell us. You didn't tell me the details. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Yes.
We hosted the fourth President of the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
And God willing, and underline God willing, the sixth President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Okay. We are very excited. We had leaders from across the country.
It must have been a very busy weekend for you as a county.
It was.
How lucky could a county be that you host those two gentlemen?
You know, all of them,
yes,
they have one thing in common. When it comes to international network, when it comes to investment, when it comes to political leadership experience, these two leaders cannot be matched. That was the first public meeting President Uhuru has had since he left office.
Yes.
And he was relaxed. We were very happy to have him around, and I was so surprised. Kenyans from that particular part of the world stopped whatever they were doing to just say jambo to our fourth president. Yes.
All right. Legislator representing the great people of Embakasi North, James Gakuya, is also in studio, joining me shortly. Whether he's also happy about that statement, he'll tell us very shortly. All right, so right about now, let me take you through the traffic situation in the city just before you leave your house. This is how we do it here. Let me start with the capital city, of course. Looking pretty fine. Major highway, this is Uhuru Highway coming into the CBD. Looks pretty fine. They are expressing all the way to Mombasa Road. Mombasa Road in and outbound also looking fine. The only problem is when you're just approaching Nyayo roundabout here. We have got some patches of traffic here at the Nyayo as you approach. Just, I believe this just past Kenya Mas. This is around South B, South C, thereabout here. Exactly, yes. As you approach the Nyayo National Stadium, Langata Road still looking fine, including the Aerodrome Road, again, looking super okay. Langata Road all the way from Galleria, moving from, not Galleria per se, but moving from Safari Walk. There you have it. Things do happen. Okay, there you go. Langata Road looking all okay, all the way from Uhuru Gardens down to Wilson Airport, joining T-Mall, and ultimately into joining Uhuru Highway, also moving fine. Heading towards Mbagathi Way, kila kitu iko sawa. Ngong Road, good morning. So far so good. You're looking okay. But a bit of some traffic because at the junction there, and then it comes towards Impala Ground. That's where a bit of some traffic is now being experienced because of the Oledume Road. Of course, we have got, Elgeyo Marakwet and all that joining Ngong Road. I think that's why there's a bit of that traffic there. But so far, Ngong Road looking okay. The same is also experienced at the Wayaki Way, all the way from Kangemi down to Nairobi Westlands. That's Westlands Shopping Center, coming to the National Museum there, and finally into the CBD. So far, so good. Nambia wachua Jogo Road. Jogo Road, not so good today. You'll have to be a bit patient as you come just after Makadara towards Jogo Road, coming all the way towards City Stadium is not so okay. Now, Watu Thika Road, again, just be patient as you come towards Kenya Utalii Hotel. That's where you're going to find the traffic. It moves all the way past Pangani and joining the Pangani Shopping Center. That's where the traffic is, and it's not so good today. That is spilling over to Kiambu Road towards the DCI headquarters there, but so far, so good. Other parts of the country, looking okay. Parts of the city, rather, looking fine. Okay, so what about Mombasa? Mombasa, good morning. Apparently, we send our message of condolence to people of Mombasa who are experiencing the heavy rains, and so far deaths have been reported. But Governor Abdul Samad said that his emergency team is doing what it could, what's possible, to make sure that everybody is taken care of. All right, so all the way from Nyali, coming all the way to, that is Nyali Road, coming towards Kongowea Market. A bit of traffic as you approach Kongowea Market, but that is expected. Of course, you know why. Past that, coming to the new Nyali Bridge. So far, so good. About Sabasaba, a bit of that intersection there, that's where the traffic is. How about the Likoni Ferry? That's where the problem is. The other side of the Mombasa Island is where the problem is, but the other side of Likoni looking pretty fine. Mombasa, once again, poleni sana. That is something experienced across the country. Just have to be very careful now that it's rainy. All right, here we have it. Kisumu City looking okay. Nothing to report about. That is what you have in Kisumu. All the way from Gwigot coming to Kondele, outside towards the National Airport, and out heading towards Ahero. So far, looking fine. I wanted to ask Mheshimiwa Gakuya, I'm not seeing Embakasi North here. Can you see Embakasi North here, Mheshimiwa? I'm not seeing Embakasi North. The traffic, what do you have? I'm only seeing... you don't have traffic in your constituency?
I don't know why I am missing.
Why? I'm only seeing Embakasi here. Donholm, Feather, you are doing well. There is no traffic around the whole of that region.
That's fine.
Kwani watu waendi job?
As much as outer ring is okay, we are okay.
Outer ring? Yeah. So this is your expressway.
Yeah.
It starts all the way from North Airport Road there, all the way to Thika Road and Manyanja Road. So far, looking good. You can say hi to them. It's your time. Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good to see you.
You too.
All right. How is Embakasi doing?
It's been well. Yes.
Francis Mwangangi said that they hosted a high level delegation yesterday. They had the 4th president of the Republic and, God willing, to him, the incoming president, Kalonzo Musyoka. So there was power in his constituency, quote unquote.
One is that there is nothing to worry because a guest is a guest.
Yes.
And whether we like it or not, the former president is a retired president. But he's still a statesman. But I believe that, in fact, wherever he moves, he has to be welcome. And I think for a while he has not been seen. And it's obvious that actually people have been missing him because he has been missing in action. And noting that he still holds that particular mantle of the Azimio chairmanship, because I have not handed him resigning from the same. And that's a zone where Azimio is a stronghold. I believe that kind of welcome is quite important, quite okay to him. Yes.
All right.
Number two is that I don't want to dwell with Azimio politics. I don't want to dwell between Kalonzo and Laila, because it has been a fight between. I has been overhearing Kalonzo asking for blessing, but at the main road, it's like Laila was ceded to that, but at some point he withdrawn, he dropped that particular idea, and therefore I do not want to start to be at either side there. I would say that that's their own house, and they put it in order, and at the due time, they shall give Kenyans their candidate.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least, DG, you have some support there. It's a statesman. You must be happy now.
You know, Honorable Kakuya is a very serious leader.
Yes.
Because we served together in Parliament. The only bit he has missed is just one point. You know, Kenyans are becoming wiser day in, day out. And at some point, usually we were together on the same political side. But I can tell you the policies then and the policies being implemented by the government now, I think they are going to cost them dearly. When I talk of them, I'm talking about the Kenya Kwanza administration. I felt at first the current administration, led by someone I know too well, will be the administration to transform the country. But the policies in place, I can tell you nobody can defend those policies. Because when you are increasing literally every aspect of Kenya's life, from even IDs, birth certificates, to what I understand, for a long time, these particular services have not been reviewed. But you cannot do it under this economic situation, for sure. And I'm specific on the policy on education. You know, there is no country that can transform when you are anti-education. How is this administration anti-education? When you are told from next year parents are supposed to pay for their higher education, I can tell you more than half of Kenya's student population in this country will drop out of their colleges, and that is not the policy that we should embrace. I think we should be moving now from the basic free education to tertiary free education. If we are to transform this country, and if Kenya will be known by the expertise as far as different fields are concerned. But when you see every policy of this government is tax, tax. I think we agree we must finance our development. We must finance ourselves. We must be happy about being self-sustaining.
Yeah.
But there is a better way of doing it, not the way the administration is doing currently.
Very well. All right. Okay, let me take you through the front page of our local daily, starting with the Standard newspaper here on our magic wall here. On the front page of the Standard newspaper, it says that Ruto scores on terror but fails in graft war. That is what you have. Ruto scores on terror but fails in graft war, from success in keeping terrorists out of cities to his zero tolerance to March demonstration deaths. President William Ruto, first state of the national security report was a mixed bag of fortunes. Now that is what you have here, and probably you can also take a look at what we have in terms of the numbers. We have got to close to 2 billion shillings was lost to cyber fraudsters. That is 322 million shillings recovered, and we also have that in 855 million cyber threats to critical information infrastructure. It goes on and on and on. And still on the front page, 12 dead in floods as relief efforts begin. This is what you have. Of course, this is a picture of Kisauni in Mombasa. Many families have been rendered homeless there. That is on front page of that. And on the side, you see the former president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, yesterday appearing for the first time in 4 months. And he said that you'll form the next government. Uhuru tells Azimio leaders. That is what you have here. He was in Mwingi yesterday. Former president tells Azimio leaders to remain united because they have a big chance to form the next government in 2027. That continues there on the front page. And what do you have here? President Ruto reveals major wins and setbacks in his one-year reign. That is as far as it's concerned. Let me start with what you have. Bishmio Gakuya, Ruto scores on terror but fails in graft war. What do you make of this front page of the Standard?
One, let me say, once you have a score in terror, that's a major score.
Right.
Because we are very much aware that terror has been a big thorn in our flesh, because it can destabilize everything.
Right.
And when it is tamed, I believe it is a good progress. On an element of corruption, let me also say, I don't know who has been doing this affair, but to me, I would say that in fact, also corruption is being tackled. And unless you tell me what kind of corruption has been allowed to thrive, because I have not seen an element of corruption that has been left just to thrive without having interventions. Because anything that has cropped up, I have seen measures taken. And I have seen even the head of civil service lighting to those officers that has issues in suspect, and where have been asked to drop themselves from their positions. So I still believe that the Ruto government is on course in fight against corruption, unless one will be able to convince me on otherwise.
Okay.
But I think we are in track, and the fight against corruption is on track. And those who are entrusted to fight the corruption are busy doing the same.
Okay.
Yes.
DG, this front page, Ruto scores on terror but fails in graft war.
I'm not sure what he has done as far as terror fighting is concerned, but if it is true he has scored on terror but failed on corruption, whoever has done that research could be also right, because you know that was not part of Kenya Kwanza campaign manifestation.
Yeah.
They were not keen on fighting corruption, and that's why we are where we are, because we are being taxed too much and we are not seeing anything. In fact, the two members of parliament could tell you, if they are honest, they will tell you they have not even received their national government constituencies development funds. So it's I think it is I wouldn't call it a balancing act, but I will say But that statement particularly is good for investors.
Yeah.
It is boosting investment confidence, and I'm sure if anyone thinking about East Africa, thinking about Kenya, reads that topic or title, I'm sure he or she will be positive about the region. But when it comes to corruption, it now loses meaning.
Yeah.
Because when you think of corruption is a cancer that destroys countries, destroys nations. And it is something that should be keen. Because I personally believe this country has resources. If we go by what happened in 2002, when the late president, the third president of the Republic of Kenya, Emilio Mwai Kibaki, came to power, this country was not collecting money, but he sealed some few loopholes, and then we saw monies trickling down up to constituency level. We saw so many funds being introduced during the reign of President Kibaki, and there was a lot of development happening. Yeah. Remember, even the CDF we are celebrating today started under President Mwai Kibaki. Right. Women development funds, youth development, youth enterprise development funds, and others like electricity, roads. All those kind of informal form of devolution started then. But today we are collecting a lot. Kenyans are suffering. There is no much that we are seeing. So I think that topic, scoring in terror and failing in I think I fail to understand.
DG, I'm reminded that we need to get a memo. You and I, we need to get a memo. We have got two godfathers around in studio. We need to get a memo. Why, Gakuya, you didn't tell us this was the dress code today, and even Rafael Wanjala, Mheshimiwa, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Why didn't you tell us? I mean, we look off.
I think they communicated.
You did communicate.
No, we caucused.
Yeah.
but we weren't aware that we are meeting a honorable member. We weren't aware that he will be part of
we really feel out of place. Next time we will style up.
In fact, it's good I've seen His Excellency. I've not seen His Excellency. We finished the election.
Welcome to the program. Rafael Wanjala, Member of Parliament representing the great people of Budalangi. Would you experience any floods in your region so far?
Thank you.
Notorious.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me.
Karibu.
And thank you, viewers of KBC. I just want to remind Kenyans that KBC is one of our government institutions
Asante sana.
That must be supported by all.
Thank you.
Fortunately, up to now, we have not had floods as you have asked, but you never know. You know, we don't get floods in Budalangi because it is raining in Budalangi.
Yeah.
We get floods in Budalangi because it is raining in Uasin Gishu, Cherangani, Mount Elgon, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Kakamega, Nandi Hills, Kapsabet, all those, and all that water taken directed to Budalangi because we are on a lowland. So we have not experienced, but you never know. It may come during the day.
We hope it doesn't. We hope it doesn't.
But it's my prayer too
yes.
that people of Budalangi have suffered a lot. And when I see the experience other people are now going through, and now when Budalangi will be talking about floods, possibly some people will be serious about it.
All right, take us on a break with this topic.
Now, you know, when they say Ruto scores on terror, first of all, when Ruto came into power, there was no terror. There
what
was
do you mean?
no.
We had
hit.
We had some cases of terrorism.
Where? We had not been hit. He has never arrested any terrorist. We have not been hit. So when they are giving him that score, I don't know how. Because terrorism is all over the world and is fought on a daily basis by everybody. But since before he came in, there was no terrorism, that we had not been hit. We had not been hit, and we have not been hit up to now. So how he is fighting, I don't know. On corruption, I want to agree with His Excellency. We are in a very, very, very awkward situation. And the Kenyans are regretting.
Yeah.
The Kenyans are regretting everywhere. Even those who voted for the president today, if you told them that you voted for the president, they will deny. Because things are so bad, and he's not ready to listen to anybody. He's busy shouting, talking every day. He has not had time to sit down, plan for the country, work for the country. He's either traveling, he lands in Kenya, he's never in the office, he runs around the country, then goes out of the country. He has become our agent of external employment, an employment that is not telling us that we want 100 engineers, we want 50 doctors, we don't know we want how many electricians.
Yes.
He's only telling us there are jobs in Saudi Arabia. We don't know whether he's also taking them, our boys and girls as maids, because that's what we know they do there. And those are countries that, of course, practice the slave trade.
Okay.
So actually we are not doing well.
All right.
And the corruption has not been tackled completely.
Yes.
If you look at the way today, because of this economic hardship, the way policemen are harassing people in the villages and on the roads. Right now I asked myself.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break. And we come back. I still want us to go through the front page of the Daily Nation, People Daily, and the rest. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with this.
Haiko karibu. Kingororo ni bwana chesi wale wa mitaani huko Sago wa kuchunga hii.
Inaonekana gijo yao imepoteza network. Mimi nakuuliza iko chakula.
Madhe unajua niko na emergency ambao ni urgent ndio kamefanya hata nikuje hapa.
Na kobia ni yako umevaa.
Okay, maleta bonge. Sina vitu za kufanya na mimi.
Off. Leo unajua sababu wewe kuliko mimi.
The Ministry of Investment, State Department for Industry, Industrial Conference 2023 at the University 20th to 22nd November 2023. The occasion will bring together over from academia, industry, policymakers, and development partners from national, regional, and international levels to discuss how to boost the country's industrialization. This year's theme will be Acceleration of Africa Continental Free Trade Area Implementation.
And welcome back. Mheshimiwa Wanjala says that he needs tea. Of course, that's by default. We all know where he comes from. All right? Director, some tea. Sana sana ile ya maziwa ile thick. All right, we continue with the front page of the Daily Nation here. After record taxes, state now eyes fees, fines. It says that President William Ruto's administration has now turned into focus on fees and fines paid to state agencies for various services, as the government now targets an additional 112 billion shillings on non-tax revenue to supplement tax revenues in the current financial year. And the government expects the various state departments to collect a record 431.2 billion shillings in appropriation in aid or fees, fines and levies this year, explaining the desperate adjustments on charges for various services offered by the state. Now, we all know what really happened sometimes a week and a half ago, where there were some charges on the passports, the death certificates. We also had the issue to do with the death certificates, the registration of births at the immigration department, and that raised a lot of uproar. Thereafter, the CS also reviewed such charges, but that's what we have here. Still continues the front page. Uhuru to Ruto, leave me out of your mess. This is what the former president said. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday lashed out at his successor William Ruto for failing to deliver on his campaign pledges and blaming the Jubilee administration for the failures of his Kenya Kwanza government. He was in Mwingi yesterday for a church service. After record taxes, state eyes, fees and fines. Mheshimiwa DG, let me start with you. What do you make of this? This is just probably what we've just talked about, the issue of taxes and high cost of living. Go ahead.
First and foremost, as an authority in international affairs, I do not know any single particular country that has developed as a result of high taxation regime. I'm keen and are following Kenyan case to see where it takes us. Number two is, I think in leadership, I can tell you, these members of parliament, even in their own CDF, where they are patrons, none here, and you can confirm, is everything within the office. This administration, through our head of state, respectively, could be the top diplomat. But ours is literally everything in the government. Today is in roads, tomorrow is in meteorological department. After that is, now, when you give professionals roles in your government, allow them to do what they are supposed to do.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to this high taxation, I don't know who is advising them. This will drive millions into poverty. You wait and see. Why am I saying so? Shortly, what you'll see, if we have company A, which is operating within East Africa and in Kenya, and we have this high taxation regime, we have this high level of corruption. And corruption has not started with this administration. It has been there. It is all over. But the policies of any particular government, now, have their taxation regimes, and they will move to those countries. DRC is coming up very well, despite the conflicts in that particular country. We have Uganda, we have Rwanda, we have all these countries within East Africa. So what we are not being told clearly is our tax policies are unfavorable to business environment in this country.
What do you make of that, Mheshimiwa Gakuya?
One, what I would say is, as much as we would like to say this government is not tackling issue to do with corruption, we must identify and indicate what is corruption. Because we cannot just generalize and say this government is corrupt.
Right.
It is corrupt how?
You have to
just indicate those corruption cases.
Yes.
Because that is only how I can be able just to be together with the panelists that yes, we are riding on the same pace. But when we just generalize that this government is corrupt, it's corrupt how? What is corrupted? Let us itemize these corruption cases. Which one and which one and which one? Yes, that the government has failed to tackle. Yes, we need to hear those cases. Number two, let me talk about taxes. issue to do with taxes, fines, and fees. One, I also sympathize with the rest of the Kenyans because for sure the time is not very good for this because we are just after the clamor of finance bill where taxes were being raised, and I feel that in fact also to move now to list these other small items including what we call passport, IDs and birth certificates.
Yeah.
To me it's not timely. It can be a considered case, but that has to be dropped. And I have seen a big advert here, which is inviting Kenyans to just put their memorandum and just indicate whether they are comfortable with that. And I'm sure majority of Kenyans will just respond by saying they are not ready for that. And I would just ask those and that particular interior ministry just to drop that particular idea for now. It can work, but not now. Let the economy grow fast. And let Kenyans also just flex in this particular burden they are in for now.
Okay.
Because I believe we need also to do something in the area of fuel. And fuel cannot be allowed to move over and above the seal it is currently. I am pleased to hear the president indicating that in the next 6 months, there will not be those fragmented kind of cost of fuel. And if that can be the case, the better. You know, the CS came and it just broke our hearts when he indicated that actually the fuel will head up to 300 shillings. And then I was shocked to learn that our neighbors are dropping and us, we are just giving Kenyans no single hope on this. But I would like to say, yes, as much as as Mio has been putting this as a case of G2G and wanted to know what were the agreement between me, I would say also I have not seen this agreement.
Yeah.
But I don't belong to this committee of energy. But we have requested them to table those details so that we can understand what are the nitty-gritty in that particular agreement.
Yeah.
And what are we going to gain out of it. But I would say, yes, if it has slowed down the pressure for Dora, it's good for the country. Yes.
Very well. Rafael Wanchala?
You know, when you are telling us that you want us to segment corruption where it is and how, it is now open.
You cannot tell us the police officers are corrupt.
The police officers
are
operating along the roads. You just see this is pure corruption. Nobody's arraigned in court, but they're just collecting money, stopping every vehicle, especially the PSV vehicles. Now you can see, when you want to see the corruption that is coming about, is the number of harambes that are being done by those people in the government and the amount of money they are contributing. Those ones who are not even able to give 20,000 in harambe, they are able to give 500,000 in harambe. Like the other day in Western, I saw Honorable Moses Kuria giving 700,000 in one harambe. Then you can see others going around giving 1 million every harambe. They do sometimes 3 or 2 harambes every weekend. Then you just now see this is now corruption coming back. Because associate that contribution of those fellows with the amount of money they earn as a salary. Like in Western, when I saw Honorable our whip Osoro contributing one harambe, he was contributing 500,000, and his salary is 460 something thousand. And then before that is before deduction.
Someone would argue that he works. You have got some side hustle. You have some
my
business
work, my
running.
money is my money.
Yeah.
It cannot just be free, because it requires to be plowed back.
Yeah.
To also to revitalize my business. Not always to be going there with the draw, go and throw it out. No.
But as politicians, you know how you run this business. You know.
No.
You know how to do
if
it.
You can say that's the way you indicators of corruption that comes in. Even the government projects are not completed because of corruption. So that when they come up with some variations. That's why you find even if you are doing with government business, you are not paid. Now, I want to tell you that even as we are talking today, Kenyans, I don't know how their students will go back to school because of what you are seeing there. And now when, and I agree with His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, that in the era where we are, we started with free primary education. We came to secondary. We are now supposed to have freed it completely and then go to university.
Yeah.
Now, in the university, the system they came up with, it came to sideline other communities. Like the students from Budalangi, whose parents are very poor, all of them who are called to universities from Budalangi, they have placed in a category that their parents will pay a lot of money, which they are cannot afford.
What's the figure?
They are telling me they want their parents to be paying 50,000 per semester.
Okay.
Which they cannot afford. So I've compiled the list. I want to go and ask. But then you find those ones who have shares in the government, where they come from, they are completely considered to be very poor, and the government is paying everything for them.
Yeah.
So this system was brought to alienate other communities and then support those ones who have shares in the government. Because the issue of shares is not something people should play around with. It is something people have sat, agreed, and they are implementing it. Although we will be told, no, 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 no. Now, as he has talked of our president telling us about there is no corruption on G&G. You know, it is this very, very president who told us that when they negotiate fuel, government to government, it will be low. This government got fuel when it was at 120. It is now 217 and some cents. Now it went up. This is the very government that told us that they are going to lower the president, that the dollar will go down. The dollar has escalated almost 160 now. He has never told us this. The very president who told us that there will be no El Nino. Today is ravaging the whole country. This is the, you know, even you count the number of lies the whole president has cheated Kenyans, then you ask yourself now, what kind of a leader is this? That the confidence has been eroded. We have no confidence in him. In fact, even we as members of parliament, we have failed. We have really failed Kenyans. And you know, I was telling these members of parliament during the voting time, when they brought that we increase the VAT from 8 to 16. You know, I told them, the president will distance himself from this issue of taxes because taxes are passed by parliament. You go to State House, you are scolded, you are told I don't know what, you are blackmailed, then you come here and vote. But after voting is passed over to people who voted for you. Okay. Those are the people who are going to suffer. Then the president will run away from you.
Did he tell you anything during voting?
He already told them that, you know, taxes go to parliament.
Did he tell you something? Mheshimiwa Wanjala is saying that he told you something. Were you...
You can just clarify where. But as much as Honorable Wanjala want to be at the highest gear of bickering, I will tell him, currently and the current system we have, we are all in government. It's only that they are the minority and the majority. Correct. But they are all in government. So there is nobody that you can now accuse the finger to. The floor of the house is where things happen. If you think that something is wrong, condemn it on the floor. Don't condemn it when it is already passed.
Yeah.
Make sure that in fact you mobilize as much as possible. Make sure that the agenda is dropped so that it cannot become a law. But once it becomes a law, it affects everybody and every corner of the country. Number two, when Wanjala want to tell us that the president has been lying, me, this one, I am not in his support. Because one, he must also understand how this country was being taken over by. It was on a sort of state. Because this country was taken over when the debts were at the top seal and where there was a red flag. And those debts are being managed by the current regime. Once we want to tell Kenyans that we don't know where the money is going, we must tell Kenyans that actually the biggest handle that this government is doing is to manage those debts.
Yeah.
Number two, the government has another duty to make sure that the default units got their dues. Number three, it has to serve other Kenyans that actually have require that are civil services, because they need their salaries. And when we want to say that in fact nothing is happening, it's like we don't know where the money is going. But the money is going to those directions. One, if there are those people, I can just bring a point to them, is the county government. Because after they have defaulted the money, and currently they have not been clamor, it means that actually the money has gone to their accounts. But they should be resounding and giving back to Kenyans down there, so that the government can be seen working. But when this money is not coming out, the money is devolved and the money is not coming out again, then it means it's like we inherited what we call the current expenditure or through. It is these counties that should be making Kenya to understand that there is something changing at our second tier, which is the county government. Number two, do you want to tell this government, because it really inherited this debt, that they should just watch it go, or does the other government have a ability to make sure that to make sure that actually these liabilities have been taken care of? Because any government that walks out, the one that comes in undertakes all those liabilities, and therefore it's a duty for the current to make sure that they manage all these debts. Currently, we have a 300 billion euro bond that is coming to mature. And we are not expecting angels to come and see this. It has to be this government which has to find its mechanism to handle that.
That's exactly what's on the front page of the People Daily. Stop blame game. Uhuru demands. That's what's there. What we're talking about. Retired president hits out at the government officials who blame his Jubilee administration over every time they run into problems. Kalonzo, that's what they are.
Who is in this government that was not in the previous government? Who is running this government that was not in the previous government? And this government that is there is just extension of the previous government. Ruto was a deputy president for 10 years. When they were taking those Eurobonds, was he not there? Did he not support it when we opposed? There is nothing that has happened that Ruto does not know. It is an extension of the previous regime. So they should stop blaming Uhuru. I agree with Uhuru.
But the buck stops with the president. The buck stops with the president. Exactly, not the deputy.
Sorry?
Yeah, the buck stops with the president.
Now he's the president. The buck stops with him to sort out those issues.
So we can say that it's okay to blame the previous administration?
There is nothing they did that they didn't sit in a cabinet and resolve it. He was part of it. We told him, if you are not satisfied, resign. He never resigned. Let him just carry the same cross.
Okay. DG, go ahead.
There was no worse scenario than the way President Kibaki took over the government from the previous administration. Remember, the last 10 years of President Moi, he had been denied financial assistance, loans by international development partners. Remember, again, even our multilateralism in this country then was literally dead. But President Kibaki came in. We did not hear these blame games. Back in Machakos, where I come from, there are challenges that we inherited. You have never heard my governor or anybody else in that administration claim that we inherited dysfunctional government. We inherited pending bills to a tune of over 3 billion. Those are challenges we need to tackle because we are there. So this, at the height of campaigns, I met Mheshimiwa along the streets here in this city, and I congratulated him for his position because literally they were big harassed left, right. Actually, I just bumped at him And since I knew him,
how
he was my friend.
During that time?
No,
was
everything was
okay, or
no, everything was in campaigns. I was in all focus was in campaign, and I congratulated him. But now that they are in government, I think they should not be blaming the previous administration. Tackle any challenge. Tackle any challenge that comes. Government is perpetual. It doesn't matter who is there. You have to tackle the challenges of the day.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is, allow me to send my condolences to these KRA employees who were swept away and died in Mombasa due to these fledgling rains. People relaxed. Government institutions relaxed because we were told there is no El Nino. And the government has not seen it fit to apologize. The government has not seen it fit to come to the aid of these people. They have been left to be hated by the county governments, organizations like Red Cross. It is uncalled for. Yet, they are collecting, these are high taxes. They are collecting a lot of millions. They need to focus on the help Kenyans. Now, there is something has been said here, touching on county government, that we are being given money, we are not doing much. Much more, I think from where you sit, counties are doing a lot. It is only that we are not talking much about it. But I can tell you a lot is happening on the grassroots. The only bit, both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, we were saying during campaigns, the minimum we will give to our counties is 35% of the revenue will go to counties. All the devolved functions were supposed to have been devolved within the first 6 months. We have sat with the head of state and his deputy severally, and we have been given promise 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 3 months, nothing is forthcoming. That increment is not there. But congratulations to the government. Comment anything good that is done to be objective. By the end of the last financial year, all the funds, although they did it at the 11th hour, and then they started again blaming us the following day of not absorbing the money in the development, they brought it till the end of financial year, which we commend them because we crossed over the financial year without any arrears. But I can tell you, Mheshimiwa, since then, we have not received anything else. We are still waiting the same way the CDF is waiting.
The same way even allowances, we are not paid in Parliament.
So, Mheshimiwa, when you are saying, when we are saying here we have a problem, which needs to be told Kenyans as it is, I think we are real and we mean it. This is not politics. These are real challenges facing Kenyans, and we must talk about them openly.
Mheshimiwa, make or break as Ruto Raila talks enter final stretch. Mheshimiwa Kakwe, it said that Azimio coalition demanded VAT and other taxes on fuel to cut at least 8%, and it continues to say that Azimio demanded more, and that brought a lot of disagreements. That happened last week in Stony Athi. They could not agree, but the deadline is on 26th. Can we say that the talks is deemed to fail, Mheshimiwa?
One is that those who are at the panel of this discussion, I think they should put the country at the top. Other side shows aside. Because at the point we are, it's like the talks were on and has been always going on well, but has come to a point where at the tail end, it's like there is a poison which has been instilled, which it seems to be diverting the whole scenario. And there are some demands that may be put on the table, and the demands might be most likely break the whole or bring the whole issue to a stalemate. And my simple advice to those party leaders, now let me talk about, even though the talks have been spearheaded by Kalonzo Musyoka, but the boss is Raila Odinga, and the head of state. The way they sat and agreed on forming an outside parliament bilateral talks They should find themselves a chance and then take themselves back to that universe and take the interests of this country at the top. Decide whether they are moving to a stalemate of this discussion or whether they are moving to a clear opener to this discussion. One, this country is in limbo in terms of now the IBC. We cannot have the country without an IBC, where we have constituencies that actually requires to elect their members of parliament, like Banisa.
Yes.
We have also members of MCAs who have who are gone, and where replacement has to be done. And number two, we have an issue of the elimination of our boundaries, which is coming to be overtaken by time. And these are very serious issues that should be given a consideration. I believe that if there are issues that can peg these talks behind, those issues can be put aside. And they can be able to clear a party that is already agreed upon. And let Kenyans feel comfort of those. Because they are serious and their ones, and especially that one for IBC. And I think anybody who does not see that particular lacuna is only somebody who is not putting this country at the top. And therefore, the wisdom of the two leaders will guide, because the demands may break the talks. But to the back of their mind, I believe that actually none of them is really want to see this country going to what you call to a dark corner. So let us move this country to that dark corner. Let us agree on what is already agreed on the table, and let us start implementing that. If there are issues that are pending that are not agreed upon, let them give in a room. They can also require us for more extension of time and discuss those few things that are not agreed upon.
Okay.
But for those agreed upon, let them given a chance. And let the parliament implement that.
There is no agreement, Mheshimiwa Wajala, because it said that Raila Odinga has vowed that he will not sign the bipartisan agreement if the issue of high cost of living is not tackled and addressed. That's according to what Kalonzo Musyoka said. It also says that the audit of the 2022 presidential results will not be audited. There is no signing of that document. It continues as much as that is happening. And again, the most important one is now the housing levy, also there. Is Azimio introducing new demands at the 11th hour?
The reason why we went into those talks were as a result of the very, very issues that Raila is talking about. The auditing of IBC, the high cost of living, and many others he's mentioning.
Yes,
there.
the audit of
so
the results, right.
Nothing new that he's bringing on the table. And what was the priority? You know, as much as we fight for electoral justice, but the people who vote for us, their lives are also at stake. They have nothing to eat. They are not able to take their children to school. They are suffering. They go to hospital. There are no medicine and so on. And they cannot afford even a meal.
Yeah.
So it was equally our priority, and those are some of the things that would move possibly the masses to the streets. Now, if we go as politicians and we only confine ourselves and get the IBC sorted out, I don't know what sorted out, and we leave out high cost of living, then you know Raila has been a champion of those underprivileged. And that is, he has fought it from China.
Let me interrogate this. Whenever you sit as PG, Azimio, what is your formula of tackling the high cost of living that probably you've presented to the bipartisan talks team?
One, we are just telling them, just return, just reduce to 8% fuel. Fuel has escalated everything. Just reduce it. Then deal with the issue of housing. Which houses are you telling us that you are deducting everybody's money? Even the civil servants are not comfortable. I know even you people, you are suffering here because they have raided your salaries. When you go to NHIF, the card is not even working. You cannot be treated. Yeah, we are just in a mess. So these are the issues that we need to tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is no way we are going to agree to those agreements, even me. I agree with him. If they want extension of time to discuss those things, let them come and ask. But there's no way we'll agree to those agreements without the cost of living tackled. Because
the extension of time is going to put Kenyans
people Budalangi are suffering.
In a moment of despair and of course suspense. Mheshimiwa, go ahead.
You know, Lord Acton once said, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think we have two formations here, political formations. One has the interests of Kenyans at heart. Another one, I think they are exercising power, not even ruling, not even leading. And that is very dangerous. Why am I saying this? The whole of all these demonstrations, the whole of the calm now in the country has everything to do with the cost of living. Issues Kenya's centered. Now, in this case, if you are not discussing the cost of living today, and you can see the government is so thirsty, is only focused on taxation, not even looking into the welfare of the civil servants in this country. They just want to raid and get rid of everything. In fact, given time, Kenya Kwanza might want you work, and month end, you remit that money to them. So in this case,
that would be extreme.
If we are, but that is what they are doing. That's what they are doing. The best, you know, the government all over the world, not in Kenya, governments exist to offer basic public services. Now, for the first time, we are being asked to pay for those basics, when the government exists to provide for them. So in this case, if the cost of living is not in the agenda, I've been accompanying Azimio leaders from across. Sometimes whenever they come into to the region or they go and we happen to be there, I've seen, ask these MPs, and they will tell you even in their constituencies, Kenyans are demanding, put this one into the agenda. Yesterday I saw people literally block the fourth president of this country and, God willing, the sixth president of Kenya. They were blocked, and the people were very categorical. They don't want these handouts. They want cost of living being the first agenda in this National Dialogue Committee. Now, you have asked which agenda do we have, and whenever we meet as a coalition, do we discuss these things? We discuss. Ask Honorable Wajala, he will tell you. Use the policies Raila and Kibaki used of expanding taxation bracket. Let those absconding, those who are looting our funds and mismanaging our funds, stop. And it is only the national government that can play that role. So in this case, if you expand the taxation bracket, so many Kenyans will pay, and we will have enough for development, we will have enough for the operations of the government, and we will stop taxing Kenyans. Now we should be cautioning Kenyans from this high cost of living. Instead, we are just putting millions into poverty by putting policies that are hurting Kenyans, like taxation regime. I rest my case.
You rest your case. Mheshimiwa Gakuya, do you think Azimio is demanding too much?
One, there is one thing that actually I would like them to be very objective, that they also do live in this country.
Right.
They are not foreigners. So they understand how, where we are coming from, where we are, and where we are heading to. One, let us agree in one thing. Whether we like it or not, there are those things that we must seal at a time. Last regime borrowed up the tune of 9 trillion. Do you have asked yourself the reason why? If the last regime was saving money that they were collecting in terms of revenue, do you think that there was any interest of borrowing to that tune? The answer is no. They could be sorting themselves with the savings that they could be correcting. It tells you in the kitty there was nothing remaining as a saving, and that's why there was that appetite of such borrowing, because the country could not stagnate just to feed their people without developing. And that particular element of developing is where William Ruto is trying to break at this moment. And the taxes that maybe he's raising is just to create that room. Because in case he does not look for an alternative measure, it tells you that he must also run the government in the same scenario that as the regime was. And he must end up at the tune of another 9 trillion, which will double to 18. How can he remove himself out of that basket? Unless there is a miracle. There is no any other way that the government can survive without some taxes. So raising of those taxes are just to give some those kind of measures just to make sure that the government is saving something which can be taken to development.
Okay.
Otherwise, let us learn from that regime.
So what are we looking at after 26th? Because I'm so sure there will be no more extension after 26th.
In this particular case of bilateral talks,
yes,
whether there will be an agreement or not, the country is not going to migrate. Kenya will remain. Whether people will not come back to the streets, they can come back to the streets, because there are those things that they may try to push, and they probably is not going to be achieved. Because you can tell, there's no way to tell the president, remove this what we call housing levy. This housing levy is what is now, I can say, is creating some kind of jobs in what we call those local markets. And if this particular levy now is removed, it is told us that that particular project of housing is already shut out.
Yeah.
Number two, remove now this particular levy for fuel. That particular money is the money that we are putting to the production in terms of reducing fertilizers to our farmers. It tells us that in fact that money is not going to be fitted to that particular purpose, and then we'll bring it back to I'm so
sure Mheshimiwa Wanjali is not amused, because from Nairobi to Budalangi is not.
Why not?
I'm not.
Probably he's not a farmer, but personally I'm a farmer. I am a farmer. I does what we call tea. I does coffee, and I am sure that in fact the subsidy for what we call fertilizer is key. And putting this particular subsidy to production is more productive other than putting it to this consumption.
I want to finalize with you, gentlemen, from both of them here.
First of all, I want to say this.
Yes. What is the way forward? Because it's now not so okay.
Yeah. First of all, when we are talking of housing, I was in Rwanda 1 month ago. They are building houses for assembling people, move them from the villages, bring them together, give them the necessary amenities, and so on. They are not taxing Kenyans. Who was building houses? Kibaki built houses, those ones that are in Kibera. He never taxed us. And even the launches Ruto has been doing were Uhuru's projects, but he never taxed us. Where did Ruto think that he must tax us again to build houses? You know, those are the issues these gentlemen are not telling us. And I want to say this. You know, the parliament today, not the parliament I was in. I came in 1997. Now, I came in 1997 to 2002, then 2002 to 2007. Now, 2013 brought in, 2010 constitution brought in 2013 parliament, where we don't have opposition, but we have minority and majority.
Right.
All of us doing same thing: oversight, legislation, and representation. These gentlemen who are in majority, I don't know where they went to learn that they become the agents of government to protect the government. Yet the people they are supposed to protect are outside there. They are supposed to represent them. They are supposed to oversight the government on their behalf and legislate. So them defending the government, I find it...
That is an unwritten rule. I mean, you have to... You know this, from the bullfighting land, you have to support your bull, however bad it is.
The people who voted for them is not the government.
Right.
It's not the government. The government did not vote for them, but the people whom we say are suffering are the ones who voted for them. So they are supposed always to protect these people. So what I want to say this is that even imagine it is Ruto he was on the TV yesterday telling us how he's going to Germany, how they had talked to bring 200,000 jobs. The very poor young girls and boys he wants to take outside there, when they marry, you come here with your wife, they tax that wife 200,000. And then the children you gave birth when you were there, each one of them will have again to pay.
I believe CS Kithure Kindiki reviewed that, and probably we are now happy. We are now happy up to this particular point.
No, it's something they are going to revisit, and they will be called in the State House, and then they will be read, rioting act. They will come and pass it.
Okay, DJ Tumalizie. I hope you're not going to be taxed.
I want to say,
it is important to state very clearly that, in fact, once you got a good job outside there,
right,
and you earn a lot, when you come back home, just pay something.
Okay. Right.
I think
I'm told we're running out of time.
Yes. I think I would say the following. One is the late Pan-Africanists. And President Nelson Mandela once said, where you stand depends on where you sat. I think I will ask maybe parliamentarians present to provide us with a list, because we have been hearing this of foreign lists. Yes, very fast.
Right, I'm told something is happening somewhere.
Yes, very fast, to provide the list. The list of these foreign jobs, because we have been hearing these talks, jobs from this country, from Canada. Canada refuses. We are told elsewhere, Wanakata. So we need to see, so that we can establish it does not turn out to be a lie just like the rest.
Thank you.
Kenya is treading on a very dangerous grounds. We have seen kidnappings in this country that has never been witnessed before. And you wonder sometimes, are we led, do we have mafia in this country? Do we have criminal gangs in this country? Or what is happening?
The government has scored the high.
No, I can't agree with that. Because we saw what happened to this Rai group founder. And we have been seeing these kidnappings, including the 7 billion oil saga. Somebody is being kidnapped, held incommunicado for days. I think that is very dangerous. Number two, and almost the last one. The last one.
Okay.
The last one.
All right.
You know, we have another state of affairs that is very, very much of concern to this country. Okay. You see demolitions in Mavoko. Court does a ruling today, and there is no even court order to demolish, and then you go demolishing houses belonging to thousands of people, including almost 40 churches. And Kenya Kwanza is known to have used religious organizations in this country when they were campaigning. But even consulting the bishops to even remove those churches, that did not happen. It is not fair.
I will be fired. Will you give me a job?
Sorry?
If you continue after this.
Oh, sorry. sorry.
Thank you so much for joining us. Deputy Governor, Machakos County, representing Machakos, Deputy Governor, thank you so much for joining us. Francis Mwangangi, Gakuya James, Embakasi North Member of Parliament, as well as man from the Ingoland, call himself Wanjala himself. Thank you so much, Umomi, for coming. All right, that's where we wrap it up. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Good morning. My name is Victor Lo. Thank you so much.
The Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, State Department for Industry invites you to the Kenya Industrial Conference 2023 at the University of Nairobi grounds from 20th to 22nd November 2023. The occasion will bring together over 100 participants drawn from academia, industry, policymakers and development partners from national, regional and international levels to discuss how to boost the country's industrialization. This year's theme will be Acceleration of Africa Continental Free Trade Area Implementation.
Itakuaje? Oya.
Msikia akona ka forehead. Akona the mark of quality. Amekerov general mshetani over.
Nataka kumaliza mambo hiyo wedding.
Kwanza kiongea kitu kia Patrick sana. Rosi Paul.
Umenimaliza kama chai kwa kikombe.
Pesi zote zimebaki December, September, October.
Wanaona, anoma itwala.
Ni kama tu nikuje nikwambie uko na kichwa kubwa. Sasa makosa si
au sio? Ndio manake. Okay.
Every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Guess what? It's your good friend and loyal partner, Claudio. He's the one who took it.
Olga mentioned to me that he was also involved in the murder of Carolina.
Olga? I've got nothing to do with those drugs!
Transporting it. So the charges will be against you.
Where are they? They shouldn't get away from us. You two check over there. You
Yes,
come
sir.
with me. Hurry up!
I've just recalled everything. Now I'm going to do what I should have done long before. I am going to tell the truth.
But getting cold feet?
No, certainly not.
KBC Channel 1 magazine programs strive to disseminate news and information.
Welcome to happening in the world of entertainment
and achievements of individuals navigating through life.
Be part of the intelligent conversation. Hapa KBC Channel 1.
Related to the interest of Kenyan public on various subjects of national importance.
Basi karibu tujifunze. Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news,
Challenges and remarkable stories of individuals with disabilities.
you have a say.
Our magazine programs empower communities with words for conversations and a common language to approach the world.
For your infotainment needs, we have a great range of programs.
Music can be magical. It's the soul for life and gives immense peace to us. It has a powerful therapeutic effect on the human psyche. Whether secular
One for the party, two for the shawty, three when you shake your
or gospel, there's a song for everyone, every occasion, and every emotion.
God bless you.
What's wrong with you, Mom? Why didn't you tell me that you were dealing with something like this? I would have been there for you.
I didn't want to worry you.
After I convince them to go abroad, do you think you can still stay in Beijing?
I don't have time for this. You know what? I don't have any time for whatever game you're playing. If you don't come out, then I'm going back.
Hey! Would you come with me if I went abroad? You want to persuade me to let my son stay?
No wonder he's so smart, because you're smart.
Flattering me isn't gonna help.
Did you buy it?
I bought it so that I could drive you around, especially during winter. That way I can also make sure to keep you warm.
Guess what? It's your good friend and loyal partner, Claudio. He's the one who took it.
Olga mentioned to me that he was also involved in the murder of Carolina.
Olga? I've got nothing to do with those drugs!
Transporting it. So the charges will be against you.
Where are they? They shouldn't get away from us. You two check over there. You
Yes,
come
sir.
with me. Hurry up!
I've just recalled everything. Now I'm going to do what I should have done long before. I am going to tell the truth.
But getting cold feet?
No, certainly not.
Thank you for staying with us right here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Degwa, and right now we get straight into Family Check. And today, as I had mentioned earlier on, that we will be looking into parenting on Family Check. We will be looking at the relationship. What relationship should a parent have with their children, especially during this time when we have children at home due to the long holidays? How are parents supposed to parent in a way that it will be positive parenting? I am joined by one Mr. Mustafa Masudi, and he is here to just delve into this topic so that we can be able to dissect it. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. My name is Mustafa Masudi, and currently I serve as a minister at Nairobi West Church of Christ. And coupled with that, we have a college, Nairobi Great Commission Training College, where we train ministers, where I support on administrative issues. Okay. And I'm really glad to be here today, more especially in this very important subject of family and being specific on areas pertaining to parenting.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here as well. If we may just start with what positive parenting is.
When we are talking about positive parenting, it is important to look at 3F. A parent is an administrator. A parent is a friend. And so when we talk about 3F, we talk about being friendly to your children, being fair to them, and also being firm. Because family is an institution. And since it is an institution, it is more meant for training rather than just rearing. Because the best word we use is nurturing the children.
Yes.
That means we make them very balanced and prepare them to be individuals, or rather adults who are independent, and they are able to run their own lives without having to be to be held by the parents, or always requesting guidance from their parents when they are adults. Yes.
I love that you've said it's 3Fs.
Yes.
Fair, being friendly to your children, being fair to your children, and being firm. So that friendly and firm, how do we differentiate the two? Because sometimes they say that you're supposed to be a friend to your children, but where do we draw the line? Whereby you also need to be firm? Because sometimes you're too friendly, you forget to become firm. So where do you draw that line that your children know, yes, dad is my friend, yes, mom is my friend, but then there's a line I cannot cross?
To begin with, a good parent must understand that a family is an institution. And what really guides an institution is communication. And you can't communicate without having a come together with your children. Personally, I always have at least 3 meetings with my children every year. We sit together, there is a specific day, lunch is prepared, we sit, we talk, everybody airs up. Sometimes I even come out and say, please, I'm sorry, I promised I was going to do this, and I couldn't do it.
Like, so you intentionally set aside 3 days where they know within
3 days
the year,
in a year, yes.
There will be a family meeting.
If it is not 31st of, the first meeting is always either 31st of December or on 1st of December morning. So we set aside, we prepare ourselves psychologically, we meet and communicate to the children your expectations about them, so that when you later hold them accountable, they understand what you are holding them accountable over. So when I'm talking about being friendly, your children should know that you are the best person they have in their life, and they can easily open up to you whenever they are in struggles. Then when I'm talking about being, I said 3F. I said you are a friendly, and then you are a fair, and you are firm. Sometimes the parents, they don't give their children time to express themselves. Because how else will you know what these children are going through until they communicate, or they communicate to you? Then when we are talking about firm, mean what you say. Many parents are not true to their children. They even make promises they know for sure they are not going to fulfill. It is better to be accepted as a parent for what you are able to do than to try to please your children, then hurt them more and create an environment of mistrust.
How important is it for communication to be part and parcel of a family, setup? Like you said, you always have 3 meetings. That is communication. You know, everyone gets to air out their views, whatever they've been feeling, what they think, Just how important is it for parents to adopt such a method whereby they put it open, whereby communication is really, really open in that setup of family?
First of all, you don't become a tyrant in the home. Like, are your children expecting a father to arrive? Are the children expecting their mother to arrive? Are they comfortable with you? Because one thing, you can set up a meeting, and since the children are not sure about how you are going to react to anything they say, they will have 2 faces. They will have a face for you and a face for the world. They come to you and they tell you your child is like this, and you're saying, oh, no, that's not my child. I know my child. Yet you totally don't know your child. So creating an environment of being friendly, creating an environment of being friendly, but you don't abdicate your role as the leader of the home. So that you have set, for example, if you are setting objectives, you are setting guidelines and rules in the home. By the way, the best way is to allow your children to participate in setting their own rules. Like, it is like public participation. How would you expect this family to be? If you were to be me as your parent, what would you have expected your child to do? When children set the rules of how they themselves are going to run, and of course you provide the guidelines on how that can be done. And when you are dealing with your children, like when you say, if you confessed this, I'll forgive you, truly forgive. Because next time you say the same thing, they will know that you are lying, and they will never open up to you. And again, I have issues with the children traveling or going to different families, and it is good when you travel, you go with your children, come back with them. Make your home to be a small heaven where your children are comfortable to be there. You don't tell them, please be in the house. No, they just want to be in that house because to them it is the safest place they ever want to be.
All right. And are there stages in parenting? By this, I'm asking, is it how you parent a 16-year-old? Is it the same way you get to parent a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old? And there's someone we had on this set a while back who said that between the ages of 0 to around 7 years, you're not supposed to be friends with your child. You're supposed to instill discipline in them. You're supposed to let them know who you are as a parent, and not really friendly. And then after 7 years, then they say that is when now you start developing a relationship where your children see you as a friend. But 0 to 7, according to them, it's not a time for you to be friendly. It's a time for you to instill discipline. So is there a way of parenting? Is it different in terms of how you parent a 7-year-old, a 16-year-old?
I want to strongly disagree. This is a guest who has just arrived into our world, that they are seeing everything with the eye of, I call it tabula rasa, an open mind. And how else? Because in most cases, people don't care about how much you know until they care about how much you care. So care comes first. And then, of course, when you provide guidance, and that's why I came in with the word friendly, fair, and firm. You need all your years to couple up the 3. In the year 1 to 7, it works. When you love them, they will want, first of all, to emulate you. In Swahili, they say that mwana utazama kisogo jani naye. That means they want to really be like you. Every young girl wants to be like the mother, and every young boy wants to be like their father. Well, I remember when my son is now doing BSN, Bachelor of Nursing. When he was small, Everybody, he liked to walk like me, to try to do everything like me. And so how else do we want them to emulate us if they fear us? They need to love us. Even, by the way, they say that a compliment comes before correction. So if you are a tyrant, what will happen? They will fear. And I'm also a specialist in human development. I did special education. And when you are relaxed in a playful environment, you gather more information than when you are in a harsh environment. So when children are happy around you, they get to get every little detail you are trying to put before them. Now, you asked me about a 12-year-old, 16-year-old.
Yeah, is the parenting style the same?
Truly speaking, the developmental stages of every child requires a different approach altogether. In the first instance, children are gathering vocabulary. They are gathering so many things. They are gathering everything. But now it is you to provide guidance on what is good for them and what is bad for them. When they get to around between 0 and 10 years, you look at it like the children are really gathering what will set the foundation of their life. If you can't get through very well between 0 and 10, you will have trouble when they get between 12 and 16.
Mr. Mustafa, I'll ask you to hold your thought. We take a break and then we get back with this.
Okay.
Let's take a break.
The Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, State Department for Industry invites you to the Kenya Industrial Conference 2023 at the University of Nairobi grounds from 20th to 22nd November 2023. The occasion will bring together over 100 participants drawn from academia, industry, policymakers and development partners from national, regional and international levels to discuss how to boost the country's industrialization. This year's theme will be Acceleration of Africa Continental Free Trade Area Implementation.
It's a cocktail of emotions. The puns that cracks up the family. Greed that yields power and a hunger for success. Friends turn to foes. Survival for the fittest is the drive.
Who are we blackmailing?
But nothing beats the feud in a family where one disappears and another fights for the crown.
It was not supposed to go this far.
It's the desire to succeed that keeps us going, the deception that keeps us digging, and the laughter pill that keeps us living. Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m. KBC Channel 1 magazine programs strive to disseminate news and information.
Welcome to Happening in the World of Entertainment
and achievements of individuals navigating through life.
Be part of the intelligent conversation. Papa KBC Channel 1.
Related to the interest of Kenyan public on various subjects of national importance.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news,
challenges, and remarkable stories of individuals with disabilities.
And you have a say. Our magazine programs empower communities with words for conversations and a common language to approach the world.
For your infotainment needs, we have a great range of programs.
These are the moments we live for every Friday as we catch up with the world of football.
Manchester City go in front.
With your favorite stars in rivalries like no other that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Learn a few tricks that keep you ahead of the game and spice it all with unforgettable moments on Dunda Dunda. On Saturday, you're in for another treat as we rock your weekend with all sporting disciplines, bringing you insights on what's happening behind the scenes as we share players and athlete stories, preparations, and celebrate their achievements.
Charging to the line. Is it going to be a world record? Yes, it is. She smashed it.
Whatever angle you look at, we've got you covered. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back to the program. Thank you for staying with us. Now, before we took that short break, we had already started our conversation on parenting, and we are just looking at the relationship between parents and children. And you were just explaining to us the stages of parenting. You had talked about 0 to 10 years. How do you go about parenting children between the ages of 0 to 10 and moving forward? Yeah.
When we are talking about okay, between even 0 to the highest level of parenting, if you are ever to give any punishment, let a child understand why. Some parents just, before even they gather all the information, they are already on top of punishing the child, denying them this and that. But listen to your children to really understand. You must have to come to a common understanding about the mistake that has been done. On 1 to 10, love, the percentage of love should be higher than the percentage of discipline. Because at that point, these children don't know the difference. They can associate. Even sometimes parents give children cause almost like punishment. Anytime they grow, they detest that thing that they were given. Like, if you make this mistake, utaenda kupalilia maua, you know. If you make, but you know, weeding the flowers and all that are a common cause that should be enjoyed. So, but if we associate punishment with work, then they detest work forever in their lives. So when we are talking about developing the little children, the younger the children are, the more friendly we need to be. But the older they grow, we now instill more discipline and direction, because you know they are stepping out of your house. And are they going to fit into work environment? Are they going, like, they throw tantrums? They do this, you know, they get annoyed, they refuse to eat. They do. At that point, you need to instill more and more, because once you release them into the world will not empathize or be merciful to them. Yeah. So as they grow, when they are still very young, cuddling them, holding them on your chest, loving them is very important. But always be firm when it comes to giving instructions. Yeah. Like, for example, I have an issue with parents where their little children are jumping all over the guest. They are pouring food anywhere in the house. Just because you need to be friendly, they say no. In my house, God has blessed me with a good family. I have 4 daughters and 3 sons, and coupled with the 2 others who came from other families. They had nowhere else to go. I have 2 grandchildren, but even my grandchildren, one is in grade 1 and the other one is people. They are very disciplined in the sitting room, not because I'm a very harsh person, but they understand what I want and what I don't want. You will see them play around me, but they don't mess because they know that it is not right to do this. And I come back to the friendly, fair, and firm. They understand that what you don't want, you really don't want it, and what you love, you really love it, and you don't create an environment where there is no difference between good and evil. They should really understand the difference, that this is exactly what my parent loves, this is exactly what my parent does not love. Allow me to say something about the relationship between the parents and how it impacts on children and even their future. If we have a lovely, wonderful relationship between husband and wife, the children become secure and they hope to have their own families in future. Sometimes there has been a big contribution in when our relationship, husband and wife, when we have a horse relationship, what will it happen? The children will detest marriage. They will not want to enter into marriage. Like, I better stay alone. If marriage is all about being like this. I have a relative who had a really terrible relationship with the husband and the wife, and both were teachers. And you know what happened? One time, the firstborn said, "I don't want to be a teacher." Then I asked why. If being teachers is how my father and mother relate, I don't want to be a teacher. You know,
they observe, as we've said, children observe. Yeah,
they observe. And for men, I know you are listening to me. If you want your children to love you, love their mother. There is no way you will alienate the mother from the whole thing. By the way,
and this is also for children, for parents who are co-parenting. They don't live in the same home. They live in different homes, but they should still have a relationship whereby the children can see that our parents respect each other, right?
And again, children don't understand why you disagree. Do not try to pull the children towards you more than towards him. Even if, you know, sometimes because of safety and all that, separation is also encouraged. But I really believe that God created marriage to be permanent, to last forever. However, when there is danger in either of the parties, separation is allowed. But do not jump into another relationship with the pains of the previous relationship. What happens is, whatever pains you had, you are so careful that you had the next relationship using the pains of the past relationship.
And it also trickles down to the children.
And it trickles down to the children.
Yeah.
And like, if you are always in fights and all that, you will find out that there are always fights in your home. Now, there is something we did with my wife. I'm happy that she's here watching, and I have my daughter here. And when we first entered into relationship, and after our wedding, our first thing was to have a meeting. What type of a family are we coming up with? We are going to bring to the world people. What type of people are we intending to bring to this world? What are some of the basic rules that we need to put in place so that when they come in, they join into it? And I remember we agreed that we are married to a human being has just married a human being. There is no pig in this house, there is no dog in this house, so there are no abuses in this house. By the way, you can stay in my house for a whole week and you will never hear my children abuse each other because of the foundation we set, the two of us. So whatever rules and guidelines, it creates a system in the home, and each member that comes into that system will fit into it, and they will be home to peace and harmony.
Yeah. All right, right now we know that it is during the long holidays. Children are at home and they'll be home for the longest until January. Those who are doing the Form 4 are actually finishing their exams by Friday, enjoying the rest of the siblings back at home. So what are some of the activities maybe or the parents should engage these children in so that they are not idle? As we know, an idle mind is the workshop of the devil. So what should they be doing? For the parent who's watching us and they wonder, sasa hawa watoto, I have until January to just be with them in this house. How do you engage them?
Having been a teacher for many, many years, I have seen parents abdicate their role as the guides, the mentors of their children, and they hand it either to the teachers or to the church. An opportunity of 2 months, 1 month that we have with our children is a great opportunity that you create memories in the lives of these children. And luckily those parents who are back at home, they are much better off because at least they have cause of these children. For me, it is the best time to give leave to your house help. It is the best time. If your children are fully grown, give leave to your house help at this point in time, so that your children can participate in the day-to-day course. They can wash utensils, they can wash their own clothes, they can do this. Because what happens? Are you aware of a time where a lady is married and she's been asked to cook chicken and they end up cooking chicken with feathers? You know? Because they never got an opportunity to train in a common course like cooking, cutting vegetables. Like they are now in their home and they want to cut vegetables, all of a sudden they cut their own fingers because a home is an institution of training. And these children should understand how to do their own things. Like my own boys, I have 3 young boys that 2 are in grade 7 and 1 is in grade 6. They know how to prepare chapati, they know how to do everything. When they come home, my wife does not cook. They go to the kitchen, they prepare food for us, they make sure they serve and all that. Because
nowadays children say they know their rights. They are not supposed to be doing the cooking.
Okay, what are these rights? Because the problem is the rights guys are always skewed to the perpetrator more than the defender. Like for example, they have really praised the parent. What is training in the first place? For example, can you take that child who really wants rights and they go to the camp to be recruited as recruits of Kenya Defense Forces, and they go there, they look at how the world, they must pass through dirty water, they must do this. You did nothing as a parent. When they reach there, they want to commit suicide because they have never seen anything like that. So when we talk about training and rights, and even that is how it has been abused, that my right is my right, is a right, and then your right is not a full right, so that my right can trample over your right. So when we are talking about the children and their development, we are not saying we put them under stress. But what we are saying is they need to learn to do simple, common things, washing their own clothes. If you don't want to use a dirty cup, just wash it. If you don't want to sleep in a bad place, wash your own beddings, wash your own sheets. This is a child who just finished Form 4, and you want the house girl to do. What are you doing? You are training the house girl, but in the expense of your own children. They can't fit anywhere. They have never asked for an apology to anyone. They have never undergone any hard times. When they face hard times, they think it is the end of the world. And that is why we have suicides happening today. Because, I remember grade D parents raised grade A children. Then grade A children are now raising grade D children. Because we forgot that the hardest struggles we went through. Like for me, I grew up in that. My father passed on, let his soul rest in peace, last year. And it was the old school. And they took us through the hard times. You went, ulienda kuchunga wakati kuna mvua, ulienda, you did all those things. When we face the world, we are confident. But we ourselves have raised children who don't know how to hold a djembe, and they are always looking at a white collar job, and they have nothing to do with blue collar. When they come across blue collar, and we have also gone out to think that like the white collar is much better than blue collar, which is not true. So we need to prepare our children, because you don't know what the world holds for them. Maybe they will end up in blue collar. or they will end up in white collar. Prepare them for both
Should be
ends.
all round.
Yeah, so that they can fit everywhere.
I don't want time to get to us before we talk about the internet. We are in the age of the internet. You know, children as young as 5 years old, actually even younger, 3 years old, are being given gadgets. What do you have to say concerning that? Because I believe during this time when they're at home, most of them, we don't see children playing outside as much as, you know, back then when children used to go outside to play. Nowadays, they stay with their computers, they stay with their gadgets, they stay with the TVs. What do you have to say concerning that? And how, as a parent, should you take care or rather monitor what your child is doing on these tablets? Yes, in this age where, you know, they are very easily at a risk of abuse, even sexual exploitation, just through these gadgets. Yeah.
I want to remember what my principal at a teacher training college when I was training said, that anytime you see a person flare in anger, there is some weakness they are hiding, because they have stopped reasoning. So we as parents sometimes have flared anger. We force our children to do things and we don't convince and persuade them out of the things they are entering into. I want to advise parents that, because right now I'm not just talking to the Christians, I'm talking to all parents. I want to, my father happened to have been, he was a Muslim the rest of his life. And I really looked at how the training we went through. I'm a Christian currently, but my father used to train, talk to us. There is the issue of madrasa. You are taught through what religion expects of you. There is constant communication to the children about their expectations. Right now, we have a whole wide open world. You only click a button and you can see anything you want.
Yes.
What the parents have tried to do is that anytime they arrive at home, they say, hey, Funga, hey, can you put off that channel? Put off that other channel. Put off this other channel. And you know, when they step out, their children go to those channels that he tried to stop them. The parents try to stop them from watching. What is this thing that our father and mother does not want us to see? So I would that we sometimes allow some of those things and we talk to the children about, can you see this? Can you right now walk naked in our streets? Then the child say, no. Say, that is the reason we feel like you should not watch this, because look, this one is naked. And no one would want to walk naked in our streets today. Or can you go to school without clothes? They say, no, I can't go. So we open up, we educate our children through social media, we educate our children through all that, so they understand what is right in this and what is wrong. And if they go into it, I want to say that my second-born daughter went to high school. When she was about to finish high school, she got pregnant. And my wife had gone out to a ladies' meeting. My daughter, I did not know. My daughter was in secondary. She was doing her exam while in the stress of early pregnancy. And when she comes home, she comes to me and says, Daddy, I have something very bad that happened to me and I want to share it with you. She didn't share it with the mother. And she says, my father, I'm sorry, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, God. You know, I am very tough when a child is entering into the negative side. But when it comes to this, it is like a pot has already broken.
Yeah.
So it was more about now caring for this child, because, but along the way, this child told me something I'll never forget. She said, Daddy, you know why I'm still pregnant? It is because of the things you told me. And I said, getting pregnant is one mistake, but destroying the pregnancy is the second mistake. In the event in life you ever got pregnant as a young girl, please understand that you just did one mistake, but don't do the next one of destroying the pregnancy. The friends in secondary school contributed 5,000. This was a school in the outskirts, and 5,000 is a lot of money to such a little girl. And she was being asked, you can't go home with a pregnant womb. And she went back to them and said, thank you for contributing this, but I can't go against what my father had told me earlier on. And she came back with the pregnancy. My grandson is now in grade 1, and it was all because of communication. I had told them about how a person can be pregnant, and in the event something like that happened, how would we deal with the issue of pregnancy? So I want to say that communication. Let us tell. Let's open some of those things and say, how do you see this? And they are like, hey, Daddy, no. Because they are seeing you, but tell them this is not okay. Look. And I want to tell the religious, anybody who is not religious, please, I want to ask you to take your children, lead them to religion. Sometimes Christianity, the religious rules appeal to the inner man, and your children will continue. The Bible says, teach and train your children when they are young. When they grow old, they will not forget, and they will live by the statutes you have trained them into. So you as a parent, serve as a good example and lead your children to church. Those who go to the mosque, lead your children to the mosque or to the temple, so that the spiritual appeal will lead your children when they are out of your jurisdiction as a parent.
All right, we take another short break. We'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
Haiko karibu. Kingororo ni bwana Chesi wale wa mitaani usago wa kuchunga hii.
Inaonekana gijo yako imepoteza network. Mimi nakuuliza iko chakula.
Madhe, unajua niko na emergency ambao ni urgent ndio kamefanya hata nikuje hapa.
Na kobia ni yako umevaa.
Ukimaleta kwa kitu unilete kikongo na mimi sina vitu za kufanya na mimi marasta na mimi ni off mnapotea.
Leo unajua leo sababu wewe wanakujua itakuwa rahisi kuliko mimi. Uko ndani? Sawa. Nani? Wewe ngoma.
Itakuaje? Oya.
Auntie akona ka forehead. Akona the mark of quality.
Ameke ram denela mshetani over.
Nataka kumaliza mambo hiyo wedding.
Kwanza kiongea kitu kia Beatrix. Rosipon.
Umenimaliza kama chai kwa kikombe.
Mezi zote zimebaki December, September, October. Wanaona, I know my Israel.
Ni kama tu nikuje nikwambie uko na kichwa kubwa. Sasa makosa si
au sio? Ndio manake. Okay.
Every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Guess what? It's your good friend and loyal partner, Claudio. He's the one who took it.
Olga mentioned to me that he was also involved in the murder of Carolina.
Olga? I've got nothing to do with those drugs!
Transporting it. So the charges will be against you.
Where are they? They shouldn't get away from us. You two check over there. You yes, come sir. With me. Hurry up!
I've just recalled everything. Now I'm going to do what I should have done long before. I am going to tell the truth.
But getting cold feet?
No, certainly not.
KBC brings you children's programs at its very best. From preschoolers to the teens, featuring the very best of untapped talents, showcasing arts and crafts, music and poetry. We bring you the latest animations and teach the children how to do it.
Can you read the word with Happy Hippo?
Join us every Saturday from 7 a.m. and weekdays in the late afternoons as we bring you entertaining children programming on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. This is Good Morning Kenya, and my name is Vivian Degwa. Now, there's something we need to talk about. That is teenage pregnancies. You've just touched on it, and we've been experiencing so many teenage pregnancies happening, and this brings the question of when do we talk to our children about sex? Because for the longest time, this is a topic that has been viewed as an abomination. It's never spoken about. I don't remember being talked to by my parents, either my mom or my dad, concerning sex. We never talk to our children about this, but I think it's a very important topic. But when do you begin this conversation of sex with your children? Is there a particular age?
To begin with, I want to say that as a parent, you are a trainer, apart from just being a parent. Sometimes our own pitfalls become a hindrance from us talking to our children. I want to say that to begin with, I want to talk from two perspectives. Perspective one is about parenting, and perspective two is about educational development. Our children are being talked to in school more about gender, for them to discover themselves. I'm a girl. Like, for example, having been in teaching for a long time, when you go to class grade 1, 2, 3, you find out that the children play freely. There is no boy or a girl. They go to grade 4 and they begin changing how they are playing. You don't need to tell them. You will just see the boys playing on their own and the girls playing on their own. At that point, because immediately after grade 4, most of the children enter adolescence. Do not allow they enter adolescence without having basic knowledge about sex. They need to understand the implication of, and don't tell them that if you play with a boy, you become pregnant. No, because they'll need to play together even to the later days of their life. Let them understand what it means. In case a person gets to get pregnant, what happens for a person to get pregnant? And in my home, there is no father and mother. In my home, and in my home also there is no boy girl and girl child. God gave me children. I talk to all of them together. My wife and I talk to the girls. My wife and I talk to the boys, because
it's not that the wife speaks to the daughters and then the father speaks to the son.
It was originally like that. But right now, can we have a shared responsibility? Because sometimes your wife could be having a limitation somewhere, or you are having a limitation somewhere. Your wife can help you to talk to and you understand there is what we call psychosocial development of the children. Do you know that the first boyfriend of a daughter is a father? And then the first girlfriend, the first girlfriend of your son is the mother. And if the mother talked to the son about those things, they will hear it more than when the father is talking about, because the father is a symbol of authority. And the daughters are skewed towards their fathers more than towards their mothers. And if you talk to your daughter about sexual things, they will understand it in a better way. But of course, try as much as possible. You have shared responsibility as father and mother, and the father is talking, the mother is talking, and it is a shared responsibility rather than a divided approach on child development. So at grade, you know that in child development, immediately a child enters grade 5, they begin talking about physical, psychological, and the different developments and the physical changes of their bodies when they get to grade 5. So if you talk to them immediately as they end grade 4, it will be very helpful to them. As they enter into now the training in the school, they understand what the teacher is talking about because it has been talked about. Because it is in grade 5 that the children are talked about sexual issues and sexual development, physical development, emotion development, the change of the voice, you know, the voice of the girl becomes tender, and the changes of the growing of the breasts, the change of maybe you know, the changes like the physical changes. The physical changes, the refining of the face. When the children are smaller, all of them are the same. But when they grow, immediately they enter into puberty, the face of the girl refines, and the boy becomes a little bit hoarse and all that. The manly thing begin to appear. So it is good at towards the end of grade 4. Try to begin introducing, begin introducing to your children about the expectations of life, and then like you talk. I always talk to my girls. I happen to have come with my daughter who just finished grade class 8, and I've been talking to her, and I'm really praying that I'm sure she'll be going to a national school. And when I was talking with, I talked to her and say, hey, you know what? When everybody tells you they love you, it doesn't really mean they do. When a boy tells you they love you, this is what they mean. When a fellow girl tells you they love you, because right now there is lesbianism, please handle it with a lot of skepticism. That word, I love you. The people who tell you truly we love you is us. But anybody else telling you they love it, first of all, find out what do they want from me. So it is good to you introduce. When they get to grade 5, when they have been introduced in the school, you now go deeper, because now they have been told about the fallopian tube, they have been told about the vagina, they have been told about this. Then you tell them now, what does that mean when it comes to an interaction between a boy and a girl?
So it goes in stages.
It goes in stages, yes.
Depending on their understanding, you know, what they can be able to, you know, to conceptualize.
Yes.
So at 10 years, there's something you're telling them. By 14, you can go into details.
Deeper.
Yes.
You now go deeper into it. Tell them, like for example, parents always, I remember I was talking to my son and I was asking in 2008, okay, God blessed me with first 3 girls and then him, then now the girl I came with today. And he was like, Father, you are unfair. You are unfair. How do you bring a boy to 3 girls? Now you have added the 4th one. And in this house, we only have 2 boys. It is me and you. So why did you, because you know we are used to telling our children we will go to the supermarket and get a child. So how did you go to the supermarket and choose a girl, and yet you know I was the only boy? I can't play with you. So it is good, like we communicate to our children very well so that they understand what some of these things mean. Maybe, is there any other area you want me to look at? Maybe?
I want us to look at parents who are not as privileged. You know, there are parents who are able to be at home with their children, but there are those who are not as privileged to spend time with their children because they are busy. Some of these parents work outside the country because they need to look for that money, you know. There are parents who are not able to be home every single time. Maybe they are just, they leave the house very early in the morning, they come in late when the children are asleep. What happens to such parents, you know? How do we judge their parenting when in real sense they are really just out here trying to make sure that the future of the children is secured because they're trying to look for the money?
To begin with, can you entrust your car to a mechanic you know is an amateur?
No, you wouldn't.
The greatest mistake we always make is that we entrust our mechanic, the best mechanic, to our car. We entrust ourselves to the best hotels, but we are not careful on who takes care of our children behind us. If it is possible, if you are doing that, take the most qualified person to be the one taking care of your children. Because of your absence, your children will begin wanting to be like your house girl or a houseboy. So take the most qualified person and pay them well. Pay them well. Make them love the job. You know that they always say that a lazy man quarrels with their tools, right? A house girl who is harassed extends the anger and harasses the children in your absence. If you love them dearly, they will extend that love to your children. If you harass them when you are away, they will teach your children to be the roughest people that have ever been. So if you must be away, take the best person to be the one taking care of your children. Take someone you will want to be a mentor to your children to be the person taking care of your children. The most qualified, the most able, the most, if it is even education, please, if it is possible, take a religious and very educated person to be in charge of your children. Do not take just anyone, just you want to fill the house. By the way, you entrust your house to your house girl. Then you entrust your child to a house girl, and you are not careful about the entry behavior of the child, that house girl to your house. Do you ask about their educational background? Do you ask about their religious background? Do you ask how much do you, because you are entrusting your most precious, can you entrust your bank account to anyone?
Of course not.
But is your bank account more important than your children? So why we need to really entrust the best for our children so that they are nurtured according to what you dream to be. Yeah.
And maybe for parents who are at home and probably their children are swaying away, what are some of the behaviors would you say that a parent should look out for to know that their kid is actually not going in the proper direction?
Number one is speech. You know your children, how they talk, how they deal with their... Of course, we have developmental changes, but be careful when you see them change how whatever they are saying, how they talk, they can change that. Number two, they can isolate themselves. They withdraw. Sometimes there is withdrawal. Like immediately you enter the sitting room, your children jump into their bedroom. Take care, something is going wrong. Yeah. So when your children, when I'm at home, all my children sit in the sitting room, they are all talking and they are very happy. Everything is all right. Okay, my third-born daughter, after she did Form 4 and she had a C-. And she came back to me and said, Daddy, can you allow me to go back? I really feel like I saw you struggle through certificate until diploma and you went. It was not easy. But I wouldn't want to go that route. So I told her, fine. I took her back. When she finished, she got a C. And I told her, now you got a good grade, you can go. Do you know what happened? She was a love of the TV. But at some point, it changed. She was always in the bedroom. I came back to the mother and said, what is wrong with our daughter? And I called her and she said, Daddy, I still have the same dream. I added one point. Can you give me another chance to add the second point? And I said, God, but it is you who did the exam. Said, Daddy, please, this one more chance. And indeed, I gave her that one more chance. And she had a C+. And she will be finishing her undergraduate at Lukenya University. She's doing education, Kiswahili geography. And it was because of, I noticed she had withdrawn. Yeah,
because she's someone who used to stay in the living room and watch television.
And very open with us and all that. She withdrew. And I really glorify God that God gave me the foundational training as a special education specialist. Yeah.
So for parents, they just be on the lookout to changes in behavior. You know your child. When you notice a behavior that is not what you're used to with this child, then you should talk to the
There is also the change of association. Like they were always with a certain group of people, and then now they have changed. And by the way, do you know the friends of your children? You need to follow up and really know who are the friends of my children, so that when they change friendships, you want to follow up and find out why are they changing the friendships. So that is, and again, there is intuition. There is intuition. Sometimes you are talking to your child and like something inside you is telling you something is not right. So don't go and say something is not right with you. You use that intuition to investigate and really find out if whatever you are presuming is true. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a group of people that I think we are forgetting, and these are parents who have children with special needs.
Oh God.
How do they go about,
yes. I want to encourage the parents that are with the children with special needs. By the way, sometimes you end up asking yourself, is there anything wrong I did that made everything to be like this? That I have a child with autism, I have a child with schizophrenia, I have a child with these difficulties and Down syndrome. To you, the parent, I want to say this. I want to encourage you that have a strong heart. I ask you to look for a support group. Look for a support group and look for specialized advice and guidance, and that will be helpful to you. And remember that you are a favored person, that you have a great heart to handle such a child. Love them, appreciate them, and I'm very sure that you are not unique. Many other parents have gone through that, and please avoid going down to depression. Balance between support of this child and also having your personal enjoyment. Get out of the way sometimes and go out and entertain yourself. Have time with the friends. Maybe get a caregiver to also be supportive to you so that you can also live your life, because do not amalgamate your life and the life of the child with the special needs. Can you separate the two so that you become a support caregiver and also continue living your own life? So if you can get a caregiver once a week or twice a week, you get out of that and get out of the touch with the child, so that someone else can support you. Lastly, I want to appreciate the
very
parents.
quickly as we wind up.
I want to appreciate the parents who are single mothers, single fathers, and widows. You are strong, because you are participating in two roles. It is not easy, but keep being strong. We have seen children who have come out to be great people from single parenting. Be strong and try to balance. And even if you are a father, may you look for a mother figure. And if you are a mother, would you look for a father figure to support your children, to provide the male voice to your children? Religion sometimes provides for that, and school provides for that subsidy in the event, because you can't be both father and mother. Try to find out so that your child becomes balanced. A boy child will want to be a boy, but they can end up being a boy child physically and a girl person inside them.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation, and thank you for shedding light on it. Right now, I want to head straight to the University of Nairobi, where the Kenya Industrialization Conference 2023 is taking place starting today up till the 22nd. And I will be linking with my colleague, our reporter Wairimo Njenga, as she is actually having a conversation or an interview right now with Mr. George Makateko. Let's head there.
Well, thank you, Vivian. We are right here at the University, and we are attending the Kenya Industrialization Conference 2023 that is happening right here in the country. It is under the auspices of the African Industrialization Week that is currently happening in Niger. It's happening parallel together with this industrialization conference here in the country. It is the first in Kenya, and as you can see right behind me,